Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As usual, life can be a little bit miserable and life can be a little bit dark, so we are here to bring you as much light and as much joy as we possibly can. Once again, I'm Bradley. I've had a little peer out the curtain. It's all looking shit, so I've brought Stu with me to just talk about video games this week because the world is falling apart around us. But how are you, Stu?
I'm not too bad. Yeah, it's one of those where switching off from the news and the socials is a good thing.
Yeah.
Just because it's a little much at the moment. So I'm trying to manage my time with it. It's important at the moment. And it's snowing nearby, not where we are, but nearby, and that's pretty. So there are some things to look at that are nice.
Yes, the start of our eternal winter.
Or you can look at it that way. Yeah, definitely.
It does come to something though where the being described as one of the worst storms since the Great Storm of '87 is kind of a footnote on what else is going on in the world, and it's just Jesus.
Yes, yeah, it's pretty challenging at the moment, I have to say.
Yeah, not going to talk about it because mentally I'm not in a position to do so. I could do without it. So all I will say is obviously our thoughts with whatever's going on in your part of the world, because there's too much to list. Thoughts are with you, and I hope, if you're affected, you can find some solace. But hopefully that solace is with us talking about video games. And more specifically, not quite the best video games of last year, but still damn good video games as we talk our best of the rest from 2025. Not sure how we're going to do this, what order we're going to do it in. I feel like I might go... I've got my games in release date order on my Steam library, so I might do that. But I'm going to hand over to you for the first one, Stu.
Yeah, cool. I'm just going to do it in some sort of random order.
As
I see it, yeah. So there's no kind of stack to these. They're just as they came to head. And the first one is one that was in your top 10 list, which is Expelled, which was that great little indie about driving a boat and cleaning stuff up. And it's one of those that is immense fun. It lasts you for a couple of hours, basically. It is an absolute cup of coffee game to a T. It's you sit down, you play it, it gives you joy. It's not sophisticated or deep, but it's fun and it has a good message. And games pitched like that are excellent. They never really used to exist, It's really the rise of indies that have made these exist. I mean, there were a couple back in the sort of specky days, occasionally, but price-wise, they were still like £1, which is like a £5 in today's money, and this was cheaper even than that. Yeah. It's just one of those things that you hope everyone picks up, spends a tiny amount of money on, making the developer a very rich person. That's what you hope for, and I'll be looking forward to their next release.
Yeah, no, totally, and I'm with you, and I think it's great. This I think for me is a sign of a very good developer who goes, look, I've got this one-trick pony, and that's what Expelled is. It's a one-trick pony. It's got the environmental message and everything with it, but it goes, look, this is the game. I'm not going to drag it out. You can play it in a couple of hours, and it's done before it outstays its welcome. And I appreciate that. They priced it accordingly. I finished it and I felt satisfied. I didn't want any more, but I didn't feel like it had been dragged out either, or I was shortchanged or any of it. It was paced to perfection, and it's great. I love that people could do that these days.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a niche that really it didn't even have to force itself to exist. It's kind of just naturally occurred, and it's a good one.
Oh, right. So I've decided what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and look at what came out in each specific month that I've got, like some quality games here. So in January, not only did we have one of my top 10, which was The Root Trees of the Dead, we also had Lonely Mountains Snow Riders, which was a sequel to Lonely Mountains Downhill, which was the amazingly chill but really difficult at times, challenging mountain biking game. Same game, but with skis, essentially now. It's just a really, really good game that, again, you're looking at maybe any other year that's challenging in people's top tens. But this year it's a bit of a footnote. But it's a quality game. It's improved over the year as well. They've added new things to it. It's added a new camera angle to it, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it turns it into like a chill version of like SSX or Cool Borders or something, where it's a behind the character view, which changes it up quite a lot in terms of how you play it. It's really cool. Loads of challenge modes, loads of bits going on. Absolutely fantastic game. But yeah, that was January.
Yeah, funnily enough, that's on my list as well. It almost made it into my top 10. It was battling in there a lot. And what I loved about that was it had a serious core if you wanted to engage with it. So you could play it as like, okay, I've got to do this as neatly and as efficiently as possible and get the best time. Or you could sod that and just have fun playing around, and both were the same environment. It was just so cleverly designed. And the second best thing, or perhaps tied for best, was the course design. They've got an absolute magic with creating courses. Every single one of them is like, it delights you, when you like, oh, you turn a corner and you're like, oh, I like that. And you throw yourself off, at the edge of a mountain, and there'll be something that breaks your fall, and it's just like, nice, or you'll plummet to your doom. And they've done it really, really well, such a way that you want to explore. So yeah, it's a really excellent game and could easily have been in my top 10 as well.
Yeah, totally, and I think they it's the same with Lonely Mountains Downhill, their previous game. You mentioned the course design, and that's what matters the most. Because in my younger days, when I used to go out on a mountain bike and stuff like that, you'd be doing a trail or whatever. You'd look, you go, could take this easy route, but that looks dangerous and potentially fun. And you kind of like in your mind decide what you want to do, and this is what this has. It has that moment of, shall I chance it? Shall I? I am going for the time challenge, so it might work. Or you might go, well, I've already buggered up the challenge, so hey, let's see what's down this route. And yeah, it's really clever in that. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, for sure.
So into February, another of my top 10 what came out in February, which was Spirit Swap, but also one of the ones that had to be punted, and that is Lost Records Bloom and Rage. Which, when I first started playing this, I thought I think I mentioned, like, it seemed to have a lot of similarities with the TV series Yellow Jackets, but it's like, that's just the overall premise of, like, jumps between what's happening now and the story being told of when they were kids and stuff like that. But what you've just got here is, I honestly believe, is a much, much, much better version of the my mind's gone blank now, the Life is Strange games.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of taken that premise and matured it. It is from Don't Nod, so there's a lot of the stuff there, but I think this does better than what the Life is Strange is. It just feels that little bit less wooden in places, and the character development just feels more real in the way it works, and visually it's stunning as well. It's just got so much stuff. There's a great soundtrack to it, the visuals are great, the storytelling's great, the characterization's great, and yeah, I highly still recommend this one for anyone that's into deep storytelling games over action, and like really tough puzzles and things like that. It's just absolutely brilliant. And I said, it was a toss-up between this getting into my top 10 and another game. So this unfortunately just missed out, but don't sleep on it.
Yeah, definitely not one for me. But I remember you reviewing it, and yeah, it does sound really cool. Yeah. One that was more for me, but I've not had a lot of chance to play, was Arken Age, which is one of the very, very few sort of, not AAA, but, highly invested in VR games of 2025, which actually got, reasonable amount of traction. It was a very poor year for VR in terms of sales and market reach and stuff like that, for lots of reasons, but one of them being that that Meta started focusing on making Quest 3 specific games only as their big releases. So if you don't have a Quest 3, you can't play them because they're locked to that format.
Yeah.
So like Deadpool came out as a big VR game in December or November, and that, obviously you can't play it unless you got a Quest 3. It didn't even come out on PC. So Arken Age was like, that one and Beermoth were one of the I never know how to say that word. Beermoth, I'm not sure. But
Beermoth, that sounds like a great name for an IPA.
yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Or a rock band.
Yeah, let's go with that then. So, yeah. But Arken Age is a kind of Metroidvania VR game, which is set on an alien world with sort of Halo influences. Really good. I've not, as I say, not played as much of it as I should, but if you're like me and a bit deprived on VR games and you want to pick one up, I'd highly recommend getting that, because what I played of it was very intriguing and properly made use of the format. So yeah, I wanted to give that one a shout out.
Yeah, no, it's I can't comment much on VR stuff, so I'll just take your word for it.
Cool. I must play more VR just so I can dominate that sphere. Yeah.
Yes. I think we can. That's what we need to get for you, VR games. So, moving on. The first of the bigger months comes up in April. March, I should say, not April. I've jumped the month there. Where not only did we have Expelled, which made my top 10, fell just short of yours. We also had Expelled, which was a fantastic detective game by Inkle, the team behind the Highland Song, which was really, really good. Highly recommend it if you love detective games. We also had Atomfall, which, again, you're looking at any other year would have been award bait, because it's Fallout, but honed. It takes what the idea of Fallout is and then just like makes it like tighter, and it worked because of it, and it was a really interesting setting, really interesting game that, again, I think just has become a bit of an afterthought, but it was definitely worth it for its time it came out. And also, we also had in March a game that either had to go into my top 3 or not at all, and that was 2 Point Hospital. 2 Point Hospital? No, it wasn't. It was 2 Point Museum, which takes the 2 Point games, which are obviously spiritual successors to the theme park and theme hospital games, and has kind of built on that. And 2 Point Hospital was good, but 2 Point Museum just takes it to a whole new level, and it was just an absolutely wonderful game, and the museum curation was good. How you discover new things was excellent. The creative freedom you have was amazing, and I still think it's probably my best game overall that didn't make my top 10 that should have been in my top 10, but I couldn't fit it in there because of the other stuff I wanted in my top 10. It's such a weird situation with Game of the Year this year. But yeah, 2 Point Museum is absolutely fantastic if you're into your resource and building and stuff like that, your theme games. Highly, highly, highly suggest picking this one up at some point.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, I remember you reviewing that one as well. Yeah.
Because I don't shut up about.
Nope, no you don't. Well, that's what I like about you. I can't remember what time of the year it came out, but one of mine was very close to the top 10 was Gradius Origins, which I didn't speak about in the regular podcast because just timing, didn't work out. But it stands out for one reason and one reason alone, in that it has a brand new Salamander game on it. And Salamander is a kind of spin-off of Gradius, which is it's got quite a few different gameplay differences that I won't go into, but they're broadly the same, except it has horizontal and vertical shooter sections. And yeah, it was a brand new Salamander 3 game. And the only reason it's really good, it's brutally hard as these games are. And the only reason it didn't really make it into the top 10 or challenge for top 10 is because it is unbalanced. It doesn't just like start difficult and then get harder. It starts easy, then it's incredibly difficult, then it goes a bit easier again, then it's a bit easy, then it goes really hard. It's badly paced for that kind of a game. It's great, and when you learn, that's coming, you account for it and you enjoy it. But it does mean that it's not a perfect game. But it's still an excellent game. It's still a very good game that shooter fans will like. And on top of that, you've got the rest of the package, which is, the original, loads of the original Gradius games. So it's an exceptional package to buy, especially as a brand new game. It's done, the Salamander 3, the new game, is done in a style of the time of the early to mid 90s.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of pre-rendered sprites, which I absolutely hate. It's why you never hear me speak about like Donkey Kong Country on the SNES, because I can't stand looking at them. Like, I hate that look so badly.
There's a weird like claymation without actually being claymation look to them, isn't there? I mean,
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from. I disagree. I think that's charming, but I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's one of those aesthetic choices that it will click for some and it won't for others, and for me,
Yeah.
it's a total fail. But yeah, so it uses that, which is a bit annoying, as well as sprites. But generally, it's a brilliant package, and if you've been sitting on the fence, definitely get it. Top 20 for me, without a doubt.
One for shmup fans only, though.
Yeah, without a second question, there's nothing in there if you're not into being brutalised by a shoot 'em up. Yeah.
No, not for me then. There's a few I don't mind. A bit of R-Type where it's a little bit more friendlier and stuff like that. But yeah, I haven't got the patience, dexterity, or skill, any of it for the tougher ones of those.
It's a cruel game. Yeah.
So into April, and we had my number 2, which was Blueprints, which was absolutely amazing. But it didn't not have challenges in April for top quality games, because I think for the first time in one of my Game of the Years where there is an option for this game, and I've not put it in, we had a Tetris release. Tetris the Grandmaster came out.
Oh, yeah.
Now, it didn't come out without a few issues. It did need patching and stuff like that, which I'm not going to go into now, because unless you're really into Tetris, it's not going to make any sense to you. But this is the competition Tetris, the Grandmaster. This is the one that the competitions are pretty much all based on. You get a lot on those Tetris, but your player versus player Tetris competitions is the Grandmaster. It's the one that was in the arcades and everything. And the package is absolutely fantastic. I love it. But I've seen how far my skills has dropped over the years, especially since I lost my vision. So, but I think one of the reasons I get it is I didn't play it enough, because I just wasn't good enough. It's one I do want to go back to when I'm at my best again, see what I can do with it. But it is one for, I would say, Tetris pros rather than your casual Tetris fan. But we also had Promised Mascot Agency, which is just a batshit mental game, like this adventure story game where you're sent off to this weird, strange, isolated world, and like mascots, these weird looking, like sports mascot type things, inhabit the world, and it's kind of like this really fucked up Pokemon in a way, but it's just, play it. Can't explain it, play it. It was really good. We also had the best Command and Conquer since the original Command and Conquer in Tempest Rising. I waxed lyrical about that one when that came out. Honestly, again, if you enjoy RTSs, especially if you're a fan of Command and Conquer, you can park what EA have done over the last number of years, play this. It's absolutely outstanding. We had another Match 3 game came out that was done in such a really cool way, and that was Creepy Redneck Dinosaur Mansion 3, which is very much a meta commentary on game development and things like that in many ways, but is a really good Match 3 puzzle game, which has Match 3 fights, it has Match 3 puzzles, it's got loads in there, really, really well done. And also came out in April, one that I think might be on your list, so I'm gonna mention it. If it's on your list, you pick it up. If not, I will just finish off briefly with this one, and that is Skin Deep.
It's not actually on my list. I didn't really enjoy it that way. It was okay. It was average for me, but you take it away.
I just felt with this one, it was a really, really interesting game. Like the shooting mechanics were sort of really good. I kind of like this kind of 2D, 3D aesthetic that it had, and I played through it, and it kind of took the whole the being trapped on a space. I don't want to say space station. It wasn't really a space station as such, but it kind of took a comedic approach to sort of like where a lot of these take themselves really seriously. The issues with it for me, and this is why it didn't really make my top 10, was it's a non-linear game, and I think so much so that it's a little bit to its detriment. It needed that little bit more focus to it. But that being said, I think the overall feeling for me around the game was it was put together in such a way, and there was the areas that surrounded the fact that the open world that just worked and made me want to spend time in it and play it. As I said, it's I found it really interesting, and it's one I'll go back to. I didn't finish it, but I really enjoyed it, and it just got caught up as saying it's such a busy month. It's one I do want to go back to and complete because I really enjoyed the aesthetic around it, and the gameplay was solid. I said the open world stuff, maybe that's why it didn't make it, but still a very interesting game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all of that. Those were the reasons that I had the same impressions as you, basically. I thought that it lacked a little bit of focus, which put me off, but I think that you're right that it took some swings, and I really appreciate that they did that.
Oh, what's next for you?
Ooh, well, my list is running a little bit shorter than yours now, because I don't...
I've still got plenty.
Yeah.
I can carry on if you want to take a...
No.
A little hold.
I will go for it. I am going to mention one that you haven't played and that I mentioned recently on the podcast, which is Routine. So I won't go into it in much detail because we spoke about it, not long ago. But yeah,
I started to play it, but I couldn't get on with it for various health issues.
No, fair play. But I mean, what makes it stand out for a kind of what they call an immersive sim, or that kind of adventure game, is that the atmosphere is extremely good. It kind of takes the Alien Isolation approach of you never feeling safe and the constant tension of that. So it's not terrifying in that way. It's got that level of creepiness and constant simmering fear going on, which if you want to experience that, that's the game for you. So, but it does it really, really well. The mechanics are solid, it's clever. It can be a bit frustrating as well. And as I mentioned, I used guides for it all the time, just so I could get some more of the experience down. But it's a really good one. Deserves to be explored by quite a few people, I think.
Yeah, again, it's dark, so scary. No, I don't get it.
Yeah, fair enough.
No, it's waste. Yeah, it wastes on me. It's got to have something else as a hook, and I'm going to talk about Silent Hill maybe next week or something, like the new Silent Hill, as to a game that almost gets it right, but the more I play it, the more I'm erring on it doesn't quite get it right, but that's for another episode. But you know me, Stu, I don't get scared of these sort of things. I don't get the fear.
Yeah.
I'm broken.
You definitely are. I don't trust your opinion on any of these types of games. So
No, that's why I very rarely will give an opinion on that side of it. Leave.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on. Something was scary, or can be scary, is the effect of May on your wallet. Because, boy, what a month this had. And none of these were actually in my top 10, but again, probably could have been. So we'll start off with Despolote, which was an amazing, very short story experience set in Mexico around the World Cup, and just like this young boy's life, and what football means to him, and what was going on, and so on. It's just like an absolutely fantastic game. Highly, highly recommend it. Because So I said Mexico, Ecuador, not Mexico. What am I talking about? I think it shows, especially in a time where if you're living in countries in South America and what's going on there, how escapism is important. Again, it's a really short experience, visually stunning, story-wise emotional. Do pick it up. But we also had, on the flip side of that, RoadCraft, which is a quasi sequel in the series of like the Runner series, so Mud Runner, Snow Runner, Expeditions. It's kind of a follow up to that, where you've got to take like huge, massive like lorries and equipment and stuff like that, and this time patch up the roads and fix the world around you by making deliveries of materials and stuff. And RoadCraft does it more in this post, like this like there's been disasters like flooding or storms and hurricanes, and you've got to go and do the fixes afterwards. Really like fantastic game that is for a certain type of masochist that you've got to really enjoy the busy work kind of stuff. But it's had an expansion, loads of new DLC added on, some of it free, that expand the game even further. I just really enjoy it. Pick that up. City Tales, which is a really cool city builder that has something I really like in some of these. It's like organic in terms of you kind of plot where you want to put things, and like things are built naturally within there, but you still got to manage the economics. You've got to manage regions. Really, really good game in terms of city builders and things like that. We also had Duck Detective sequel. Wasn't Secret Salami. I just need to double check what this was. The Ghost of a Glamping. Get that right. Which again, it's just more Duck Detective. And if anyone knows me, I loved Duck Detective last year. I think it was in my top 10 last year. But again, this misses out by the fact, one, it's a sequel. And already had a massive sequel as my number one game. Again, it's very short, but it's to the point. It's really good. Characters are really good. Well worth picking up. We also had the 1.0 release of Oddsparks, which is a automation resource management game. Which again, if you're into those, is absolutely exceptional. Do pick that up. Loads of fun. It's had further updates to it, and they've lent into some community stuff. So I believe one of the recent updates means you can now build like automated theme park type things going on in it. I need to go back and check it out, but it's a really good game. The only reason I've not gone back is it consumes all your time. It's that good. And finally in May, we had Pipistrello and the Cursed Yoyo, which was just this amazing 2D action adventure top down thing, and a really funky like comedic story to it, which had some cool mechanics using like this mystical yo-yo, which had the spirit of a relative in it helping you through, and was just again, it's one I'm almost gutted I didn't put in my top 10 because it was that good. So again, another one, go pick this up, play it, enjoy it, spread the word. Just having a quick check. I mean, it's nothing what might put a lot of people off. Is like it's 17 quid, but it really shouldn't. And I believe, yeah, overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam, but hardly anyone's played it. Go play it.
Excellent.
Okay, so I'm just going to go through these now, Stu. So before you mention your next one, because there's a lot more still. So I am literally just going to mention these because you need to play these games. We go with Ruffy and the Riverside. Excellent game. Play it. Eriksholm, absolutely brilliant top-down thing. Play it. Hollow Knight Silksong. That'll be many people's game of the years. Obviously, play it. Little Problems, fantastic detective game. Play it. No, I'm Not Human. Cover that at the end of the year. Go listen to it. Play it. Absolutely outstanding. What we've got there? Town to City. Another amazing city builder. Go play it. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Another Vampire Survivors alike, but absolutely outstanding mechanics to it. Play it. Strange Antiquities, which is the sequel to Strange Horticulture. Play it. Consume Me, which is absolutely amazing story-driven game that's just had these really emotional messages. Go play that. And I'm going to Ball X Pit, which again should have been in my top 10, but was punted for something else. an amazing Vampire Survivors alike, Arkanoid type mashup thing. Absolutely brilliant. And if you allow me to spend just a couple of seconds on this next one, because I think people need to go play this, and that is SOPA, Tale of the Stolen Potato, which is, I done a review on this towards the end of the year, and honestly, it's just an amazing story-driven fantasy game. Like, the young boy needs to literally go and get potatoes for his grandma, and then you're sucked into this like fantastical world of creatures and things. It's very much like almost Roald Dahl-esque, or where the where the giant things are, whatever they are, or
where the wild things are,
like that.
Yeah,
where the wild things are, or Never Ending Story, or Labyrinth. It's kind of got that story mode to it, but it's kind of got this really cool Pixar stroke DreamWorks stroke classic animation style visualization to it, and it's just, oh my God, it's just like I didn't know what to expect, but it just hit me right in the feels, as the kids say these days. I just could not believe how engaging and fun this game. Played it with Edith watching, and we both enjoyed it. And she said it was like watching a movie. So good. I can see if someone saw this and went, okay, we can make a Pixar film out of this. We will see this story as a Pixar film under a different guise. That's how good it felt to me. Highly, just please go play SOPA. Out of any of these, go play SOPA.
Yeah, it's a lovely game. I like to see them taking that, that kind of gorgeous, rich animation style and turning it into a game, because so many of those, Pixar-y type films that have been released in the last 10 years or so have just been quite disappointing.
Yes.
And it's nice for the reins to have been picked up and people making decent stories around them in the game world. So yeah, no, it's a cracker.
So I've got a few more there, 3 more that weren't in my top 10. So if you've got anything left, Stu, throw it at me.
I will. Well, I'll briefly touch on Ball X Pit, which you mentioned, which it's excellent. It's great fun. It strays away from being one of my best and favourites in that type of genre, even though it cuts new ground, simply because it seems quite a bit harder than Vampire Survivors, in that you seem to have to grind out quite a lot before you're at a level where you're going to make any real progress, and that it just kind of missed the mark on that for me, which knocked it down. But I mean, we're talking about knocking it down from a 10 out of 10 game to a 9 out of 10 game if we use scores. You know what I mean? So that's excellent. What's a much more kind of you either love it or hate it that I want to mention is Cronos: The New Dawn, which was Bloober Team's follow-up to Silent Hill 2 remake.
And that was in Steph Sterling's Game of the Year as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And
right.
knowing how much she doesn't like Bloober Team suggests it might be pretty damn good.
Well, it's a funny one. It's got a lot of problems with it. It's got got problems in the same way that the Callisto Protocol had. But I really enjoyed that game. I think it's kind of underrated and might gain a bit of a cult following. Cronos doesn't have that. It doesn't have any kind of particularly new mechanics. It doesn't look particularly different or strike any particularly new ground. What it does do very well is atmosphere. It's got this very kind of cosmic horror atmosphere that, to be fair, is a little bit ripped off from Returnal, but it's got, that kind of very grey, very the sun has set on this universe kind of a feel to it. And that goes a long way, especially when the story itself was good. I don't think it pays off very well, unfortunately. It's not perfectly constructed. It's a great central concept that I think is muddied as it goes along. But the moment-to-moment atmosphere, the gameplay, generally really sharp. There's a couple of things, like I mentioned when I talked about this during the year, that it lacks a quick turn function, and there's a few quality of life bits from survival horrors that have been around for years that it doesn't truck with, which I think is a desperate mistake. But all that said, even though it's Marmitey, even though it makes mistakes, it's got a tremendous atmosphere. It looks very good, and it's got enough gameplay and compelling storyline to make it worth you at least playing it for a few hours. It's a good game, and it does deserve some recognition, I think.
Oh, it's one I've got on my wish list that I'm not desperate to pick up, but because again, I think Bloober Team, I've played a couple of their bits before, and I just don't get it. I don't get how they got the Silent Hill gig when they got it either. Which didn't make sense to me. But I say you've got some positive things to say about it. Steph Sterling had some positive things to say about it. Someone else I respect had some positive things to say about it. So it's on my wish list. That one.
Yeah, there are some crossovers with Silent Hill F that you and I can talk about next week.
Excellent. Look forward to that, because I think it'll be interesting discussion to have, especially when you've got a team behind one of the Silent Hill games last year and the actual Silent Hill game, plus whatever they bought. Yeah, it'd be an interesting discussion, that one.
Yeah, definitely.
So last couple from me. First, I want to bring up Powerwash Simulator 2, which was that good. I completed it before it was released because I got an advanced copy. I got all the achievements bar one that was glitched when I played it, so wouldn't complete. And I finished. I absolutely, pun intended, rinsed that game.
Nice.
There's DLC coming later this year. I'll be playing that. I think it's Adventure Time DLC. I think. I didn't realise Adventure Time was still a thing, but there you go. But yeah, I can't wait to play more of this. I'd like to see them put the old levels in this just as a legacy DLC package or something. Just to give me more stuff to Powerwash, because it's just one of the most cathartic games out there where you just clean shit. And it's, it shouldn't be as good as what it is, but the first one was good. This just adds quality of life, more content, and it's just absolutely wonderful.
Fantastic.
So my last two, one is one I've been playing, I haven't finished yet, and so I'm just going to mention it, Skate Story, which in a time when we've got a failed, for me, Tony Hawk's remaster, because they changed everything that people loved about the game for some reason. We've got the new Skate release, which has just turned into a microtransaction hellscape, ruined by EA. This was refreshing. It's like a skateboarding game through like this surrealist world that's got like these messages about death and living your life and so on and so forth. Visually stunning. The tricks are actually like tricks you can do in it are quite tight. I wasn't actually expecting it to have that much in terms of freedom and tricks based on what I'd seen of like the previews, but it's really, really good. I'll have more thoughts on that in the new year, but again, it came out in 2025, and so far my thoughts are absolutely positive. But to finish off, my best of the rest is the Séance of Blake Manor, which is, I think we've seen this year, I think, the explosion of detective games, because this is another detective game that has this really interesting time mechanic to it, where time moves for every action you take. But if you've already completed an action, it doesn't cost you any more time if you need to revisit it and stuff like that. And you've basically got to solve the mysteries of what happened at Blake Manor, disappearances and intrigue and everything. And it's a game that merges mechanics, and rather than just being point and click, which is essentially what this game is, you get a lot more freedom to move around in this 3D world, piece things together. Things are well signposted without being obvious, but not obtuse enough that you're fumbling around in the dark. The story's really good. The visual style, it feels like you're reading like a classic novel in many ways, with some like visualization to it, and it comes across really well. You get to really get feelings for the characters, both negative and positive, in there. And the stories around them, you want to know more. It's not a case of just wanting to plod through and go, let's just get to this next bit, let's get to this next bit. You actually want to discover more about this thing and more about that person, what caused this, and I can go back. I've got fresh information. I want to go back now and use that new information over here, and it's just well signposted, well paced, absolutely wonderful game to play. And again, just another one that you've just got to go and play. Again, on Steam, overwhelmingly positive. I think this one has got some traction. And again, it's another one that's it's 17 quid. Again, I'm looking at Steam just to check a couple of bits with it as I'm talking about it. 17 quid, and this one feels like it's definitely value for money. And again, it's silver quality. It comes from publishers Raw Fury, which for me is one of those immediate, this is one worth checking out. Publishers, and this is no exception. Absolutely outstanding.
Yeah, it's great to see this resurgence in that kind of a game. Even though I'm not into it, I like to see every genre get properly represented, because that there's an audience out there who are clamouring for this sort of stuff. Almost as much as your dog, Your dog's clearly into it. Or maybe not. I don't know. It's changed his mind.
That'll be my son coming down the stairs. He's got an issue with Lucas for some reason.
That's hilarious. Yeah. But it's great to see a genre being properly represented and flourishing.
Yeah, definitely. But that's it from me. I've got nothing else for this. I mean, I probably have. But they're the ones I picked out as best of the rest. But again, there are still other good games that don't even make this list. And we're not doing another episode of good games that didn't make the best of the rest list. Just go out and discover games.
Absolutely.
Have you got any more? I've just cut that off. Have you got any more? Was that?
That's pretty much it. I only wanted to very briefly mention R-Type Delta, the HD remaster called HD Boosted. Just that, it's fantastic. Buy it. It doesn't add a new game like Gradius Origins does, but it's a much better game than Salamander 3. So if you want to punt for it, if you've never played it before, definitely buy it because it's one of the classics of the genre.
Excellent. Before we finish off, actually, do you mind if I mention one game which would, if we had a category of game of not 2025 that I played? And a reminder that, did you know EA used to once make good games?
I do. It was a long time ago, but yes, they did.
I set myself a task for 2026 to play through and complete the Mass Effect trilogy. I completed 1 and 2 in 2025 in just over a week, and I finished number 3 as well. Oh my god, what happened to EA, man?
Yeah,
how could they go from producing a masterpiece like Mass Effect, which I've never played properly before, and finally got round to it, an absolute masterpiece, to doing what they do now? That used to be the sign of AAA. That was it. That's what your top quality games were. They were production value. They were like everything tight and honed and just taking what the indies done. Indies were rough around the edges, and then the top studios would take that and go, take these ideas and go, now we've polished this. I don't know what happened, but I absolutely loved Mass Effect. I would argue how that hasn't been turned into a TV series or film out of everything that's been made in video games. How that isn't the one to do it, I don't know, because it's got a better story overall. When you look at both the politics side, the action side, the romancing side, and everything that Star Wars as a series does. I just don't know how it's only stuck in video game form. Amazing game.
Yeah, it's very funny that it's obvious that them taking out BioWare being eclipsed by Electronic Arts was what completely buggered this up. Instead of them learning from their acquisition, they just treated it like they did every other acquisition, essentially, and their whole strategy has just devolved into complete slop. But yeah, Mass Effect, BioWare, God, yeah, top tier.
Yeah, I've now got to go and play Mass Effect Andromeda because the fourth game, it's got to be amazing, right?
Surely it has, yeah, surely. What could go wrong?
I know, it's got to be amazing. Got to be better visuals and everything. Like in the new year, I'm definitely going to be doing something about the death of AAA because what it used to be. I think the death of AAA almost mirrors what the death of politics. It used to be something you looked at and went, yeah, I could respect that, to just being a joke.
Yeah, we'll definitely have that conversation.
Yes, we will indeed. But for now, that's it for 2025, even though we're into week 2 of 2026. Because what does time matter anymore, Stu?
Indeed, and there was so much good gaming stuff to be had in 2025 that we needed. Yeah, yeah, I know, right? We needed 2 episodes for it, but we are done. So, as usual, follow us on all the socials. Make sure you're checking out our content on the website. Join us on Patreon's chat if you wish, and until next week, stay safe and stay sane.